the BJP government at that time was interested in finding a way of checking infiltration. So they said you need to be able to target people, at least along border areas. You need not to be, you need to know who they are. You need to know every person. So you need to give them an identity which will establish that they have a right to be in this country. That was that was a mover of this idea in the beginning. It didn't, at that time they thought of a multi-purpose card, but nothing came of it then. Then in 2003, when, many of you might have heard this, business about, we have one more. Other cards which clearly demonstrate that they are not citizens. So they brought in an amendment. It's called the Citizenship Amendment Rules of 2003. There was an attempt at that time to start making multi-purpose national identity cards. But some part of that exercise has actually got completed. It's not like it never got given. Along the coast you have multi-purpose MNICs. You also have them along the borders. So some amount of that exercise has already been done. But they were cards that were given to people to identify them for who they are. Then along in 2006 comes a statement from the Planning Commission saying that we need to be able to target the people that we want to take our services to. So how do we do that? And the suggestion that was given was that maybe we could have identity cards that would be given to those specific people to whom you can take the services. In 2006, interestingly also, you have a document that was prepared by Wipro, which is a company, or technology company, Wipro, which produced a document which many of us have been trying to lay our hands on the document. We haven't been able to get it. But it forms the basis of the current UID program because it is acknowledged in the strategic overview document. When you go to the UID website, even on that first page, you'll find that they are acknowledging that their idea came from Wipro. Then later, you have Mr. Nilakani writing a book called Imagining India. Some of you might have seen it. And that has a chapter on ICT in which they say it would be a great idea to have unique identity numbers given to every person. And that would help in efficiency, in improving efficiency, reducing corruption, essentially as a panacea for all evil in this country. Now, why did I say this? It's also important for us to notice that there were other developments that had been happening in our polity, which were much more grassroots, which were not written from people who've been, Mr. Nilakani is a great guy, but he's a great guy who sat inside Infosys and worked for 30 years. Infosys, like one of those who work within the organization told us, has been a very good company for growth, and but they are largely an outsourcing-based company. You find a replication of that in the way in which UIDAI is structured. And that's become important for us because it means that this UID authority does not actually even control the information or the process in this whole exercise. When the voter ID cards were made, the Election Commission was involved throughout. It is maintained on an Election Commission website. If the data belongs to the Election Commission, it just doesn't belong somewhere in ether. There is somebody who takes responsibility for it. The UID authority, and it's very interesting because the law that has now been made says that if anybody commits data theft, if anybody gives information which they should not have given, if any wrong is done under this law, the only person who can register a complaint against this is not you or me, but the UID authority itself. Because the UID, you work this out for yourselves. I'm sure it's not difficult to work that one out. Now, the UID authority, as part of its exercise, has been entering into memoranda of understanding with a large number of players. Almost all state governments are now in an MOU relationship with the UID authority. Many banks are in an MOU relationship with the UID authority, as is LIC and a few other agencies of like nature. The MOUs have been entered into to say that all of them will act as registrars for the UID authority. Now, state governments are offering themselves as registrars for the UID authority, which means that they will have information collected about us in that format which is being asked for, and that information will be passed on to the UID authority, and then they put it onto a database. Now, the Every registrar can either register on their own or they can have enrollers. Now, enrollers are a range of people, including, there are some Eagle something company and some Falcon company. And also, these are all, they have to go through a pre-qualification test. And IDFC in Delhi, for instance, I noticed that the IDFC is centrally involved in this. So they've actually deputed people to come in and do this work for as enrollers. Now the registrars have been told, you collect the data and you pass it on to us, the UID authority. And you collect what we are asking for. In addition, if you want any further information for yourselves, you can collect that information too. Now, what authority the UID authority has to tell other people to collect data about us, I don't know. In any case, they've said that, and then they've said, you send us that information, we will send it to a deduplicating procedure. So that we make sure that this person has not received a number from some other source before, because there are many registrars. You could go to multiple registrars and try enrolling. It will go to the deduplicating agency, which will make sure that you don't already have a number, and they will send back, they'll send the number to you if you have enrolled, and also to the registrar. So the registrar is going to have your biometrics, is going to have data about you which the UID wanted. They have data about you that they are going to collect in addition, and if you don't give it, then they won't enroll you. And if you don't enroll, then you are not entitled to any kind of services, including opening a bank account, including being in a school, whatever. So the choicelessness of a whole population is what we are essentially seeing, and that worries us immensely. Now this information that's being given, there are contexts of privacy that are coming. And I just mentioned the thing on privacy now. See, what the question about privacy is that it's true. Many people tell us, oh, we give information to so many agencies. What's the big deal? You come to college has a certain set of information about you. Go to a hospital, it has a certain set of information. You file your income tax returns, there's information there. You file for a passport, you want a passport, you've got to give information. So what's the big deal? I mean, lots of people have information about us. Now, there's two things to remember. One, it's a basic principle that all of us are going to have to fight for. And that is that even when I give information to an agency, I am not giving ownership of that information to that agency. If I give information about myself to a bank or to a hospital or to whatever, I am giving them information for them to use for the specific purpose for which I am giving it to them. I am not giving it to them for them to own and to trade. I am not giving it to them for them to own and to distribute. It's only for that specific purpose. That's why it's important that all these pieces of information are held in what is called silos. They are separate silos of information. They are not meant to talk to each other. I don't want my banker speaking to my doctor. It's ridiculous. What the UID number will do, now the UID authority is not going to be collecting all this information about us and keeping it itself. If the number that it produces will provide a bridge between the various silos of information. Right now, if somebody is, Kanu Sanyal, but never mind, if someone is Kanu Sanyal, then there can be hundreds of Kanu Sanyals. And if the spelling might be something somewhere else and something somewhere else, you're not going to find it easy. No agency is going to find it easy to be able to put all this information together about a person. Profiling, as it is, we give too much information. Profiling us will be very difficult, or at least it will still be tough if it is retained in silos. So if we accept the basic principle that my information about me is mine and not somebody else's, then we will think about this program and project in a certain way. If we think about it in terms of our giving information to certain sets of players, not to be shared with anybody else, then we'll think about this number in a certain kind of way. Now, when this whole project started getting discussed in the beginning, Mr. Nilekani went all around. See, the unfortunate thing about this project is that it's not a project to which the government owns. The government has shown no ownership of this project. Now, for those of us who've been in the field all these years, we know that negotiating with the state is a certain kind of, there's a certain process by which you negotiate with the state. That's what you do in a democracy. Even when you're negotiating with non-state actors, you use the state as an intermediary very often because that is who you have a right to, and the constitution applies equally. The state can't say, increasingly we've begun to ask, are economists bound by the constitution or not? And it seems they think they are not. But the state can never say that it is not. In this case, we find that the state has never claimed ownership. The ownership has been with the UID authority, and what they've also been saying is that today we are taking money from the government to run the project, to start it off. In a few years' time, we won't need any money from the project because the project itself will be a revenue generating, it's a revenue generating model. So in a few years, when the UID authority has all this database, anyone wanting to authenticate will have somebody out there will have to pay for that authentication. It may be 5 rupees for some and 10 rupees for the other. They're saying, the really poor we won't charge them, so PDS we won't charge, NREGA we won't charge. So we have a system. It will be graded, but we charge from the others. So this revenue, it's a complete, this therefore goes way beyond just being a project for giving identity. It becomes a project, period. So we need to test it as a project.